I'm recording it now as well, so we can work from there. And, I think the main purpose of this is to talk about Kringle Liquid Token and really just go over what's been going on with Kringle Liquid Token. So I'm going to start off with where we are right now with it, and that's the new information that just was posted. I pulled it up on doing a share screen right now. So let's go here. All right. So it goes, now this was posted from their room, but someone sent it, Keab sent it over. So, hello guys, I'm sad to inform you that we are currently having some last minute issues with our development process. Remember, we had always maintained that we needed the TBC API to integrate all the endpoints on our platform. But when the admin wasn't forthcoming, we decided to divide the project into stages while we wait for the response from the admin. Now the admin has officially told us that he won't be issuing the TBC API to us. That's very sad to us in many ways because it has shown that TBC admin doesn't really want to advance TBC ecosystem at this very moment. He's afraid of decentralization that our project will bring to TBC ecosystem. All of our efforts to make him understand the positive impact of this project will bring into the community in terms of growth has failed. At KringlePay, we believe that the best way to attract others to join the community is to uplift the living standards of those who are currently holding TBC. Once this is done, we will not even need to advise or preach to people about TBC. Rather, people will naturally want to learn from our successes, and in that way we ultimately learn about TBC. Unfortunately, the admin doesn't see things the same way. However, it's not the end of the road for us at KringlePay, as we had earlier told you of having a plan B, which is to develop a clone of the TBC blockchain and use its API to run our platform. We never wanted to take this path because it's good to respect the creator of TBC. Besides this, we will take more time and more resources, as well as pose a bigger development challenges. But at this stage of KringlePay, we have no other option than to take a revolutionary approach, because KringlePay must succeed no matter what it takes. We are passionate about defending the right of members of the Kringle Society to lead a better life, and not to just to continue to live in the state of empty promises in the case currently. It is time to truly liberate the people, and we are glad we have found a way to do it through KringlePay. We have commenced the development of a new blockchain using the TBC formula and its code base. This new blockchain will mimic the growth of Kringles. This way, KringlePay will be able to run independently of TBC blockchain and achieve all of its stated objects without the need for us to connect to the main TBC blockchain. This process will take a minimum of 40 days from yesterday, 5th of November, and then actually started the new development process. Well, that's very fast, only 40 days. All right, we do understand the urgency with which many members of this community will want us to launch the KringlePay website and kickstart the project in earnest, so as to enable them to cash out their Kringles. But people who think in such a way forget that KringlePay is not a one-day project or even a one-year project. KringlePay will remain here as long as the Kringle Society continues to exist. Come to think of it, of what value will it be for us to launch the KringlePay website without having the back-end support needed to make it work as intended. We know that many will be disappointed at this very news, and some might even attempt to leave the KringlePay community, but that won't deter us from getting the work done. What matters most is the end. We will have KringlePay up and running, and this way is efficient, robust, and fulfills all of her objectives, no matter how long it will take. With God on our side, nothing can really stop us. Alex Orwell. Oh, that's his name, Orwell. I had asked earlier, and people said he doesn't use it. So, and it says, Dan Lutz was right after all. But anyway, without getting into this, I would also say one thing I was right about. In the past, when this first came up, Kringle, KLT, Kringle Liquid Token, or KringlePay Network, it came into my group, and I have rules. The rules are pretty simple. Let me stop the screen share for a moment. And the rules are this. If you want to present something, you have to talk to me first. You have to do a video and show me your face so I know you're a real person and you're not going to present something that's a scam, get people to join, and then close it down after you took everyone's money, and then come back the following week with the same idea, just renamed, and it stops people from being able to do this. It's not foolproof. Just because you do a video doesn't mean the people you're on video with are not going to lie to you, right? But it's the first step. So then I can ask several questions. Some of the questions that I've learned to ask to eliminate all the BS that's out there is, number one, where does the money come from to pay out? Right? If you're going to be doing an exchanger, where is the money coming from to exchange? Mm-hmm. Right? If it's coming from the people that are coming in and then paying fees, that's a Ponzi scheme. Right? You can't keep up with it, right? There are also money games which are sustainable, right? But it's you have to pay to play, and those are fine, right? But if you don't want to do a money game, you should know it's a money game, right? That there's something to do it, like TBC code, for example. That's a money game. You trade up, you trade up, you trade up. Right? And as long as you bring people in to trade up with you and everybody's doing the same thing, everyone will make money. If you don't do that, nobody makes money. But, I ask these same questions again and again, and I just try to analyze the thing. So let me pull up another screen here. Let me see, where is that at? Here, this one. When Kringle, Pay first came up, here was their website, right? And I looked at it, and I'm going, okay. Well, number one, the address where they were at was in the UK, and they had all these people listed here as the people that were, behind it: investor, development experience, banking, management experience, cryptocurrency, whatever, INV, right? But all these people were listed here. For me, these pictures look staged. They look like they were generic pictures thrown onto a website. So I just asked the question, are these the actual people? Can we do a Zoom meeting with them? I want to see them. And the result was they took down this website, right? They said, oh, that was just a temporary site. No, they never said that before, right? But it was up and running and everything. So when they took this down, I know that there's everyone knows I'm doing this new project that I call the New Path Forward. So in the group, everyone says, oh, when is your new project coming up? You're upset about KLT. You're trying to compete with KLT. I'm not competing with KLT. Right? I don't care, because I was asking these same questions about it before I said anything about doing another project. So people were saying, this last 2 days they've been saying, "Oh, you're just jealous," and all this. It doesn't matter to me. So the project that is coming out, I don't need to talk about that new, because it has nothing to do with what I'm discussing here with KLT and Kringle Pay. KringlePay.com. So it's about who's behind this. So some of the people said that it was the people that did TBC Global Store. So I ran a poll on the group, and this was the real result. Well, that was with 71 votes, but it's about the same now. Basically, 7% were saying, "Hey, I used them and it was great." 39% said used them, and they said it was a scam. And then, heard from friends, 6% said they heard it was good, and 48% said it was a scam. So it seems to me that TBC Global Stores is a scam, according to what this is. If they're the same people behind this, they're perfectly acting like scammers, because I ask questions and they deflect. I said, don't post any links in my chat room unless, we have a conversation first. But then they came up with a stupid excuse about not wanting to be, since I'm, not on good terms with admin, that would reflect badly on them, right? And they wouldn't, so that's why they didn't want to have a conversation. Well, I gave I said, that doesn't really make too much sense. I know you're saying that, but just because you have a conversation about your project with me, that means, admin's not going to like your project. Well, let me explain why I, thought about this. When I first started thinking about this project to move TBC forward, because I don't like where the path of TBC is going, right? I don't think it ends well, the direction it's going. I hope that Bitcoin bounty system stops and goes back to the other system, which is very difficult because we've missed the window for it to grow rapidly. I don't see it happening. It's not going to happen in 4 months, get to 1 billion people, not in 4 years at this point. So, but looking at what is Kringle Liquid Token as they described it. They are saying that it's going to be a stable coin tied to the price or pegged to the price of Kringles. So whatever the price of Kringles are, it would be the same price and be on exchange. This would be the same as USDT. It's a stable coin. It's just pegged to the dollar. Well, this would be pegged to Kringles. So does that sound like a great idea? Well, okay. Well, I thought about it. So this is why I didn't like it. Number one, if this is done, if Kringles are now on the market, right? Why are people going to go there and buy those Kringles, Kringle Liquid Tokens, or as opposed to buying it from people individually, directly, peer-to-peer, as it always has been? What's the difference? You think because now it sits on an exchange with 3,000 other coins that are just sitting there, that now people are going to rush there to buy when they're not going to buy from them? Well, obviously, they're not going. It's not going to happen. So the other thing is well, if you do that, what are you doing? Is you have another coin on the market that is exactly the same as TBC. So what is the difference? It's just TBC2. It's a clone. So what are you trying to do is take the whole thing away from admin. Well, thinking about that, maybe that's not a bad idea, right? No, I didn't want to get into that. I don't want to be TBC, right? I don't want to have something, because TBC has problems, right? The great idea in the beginning, right? But that window to make it there very fast, the formula was to basically, generate interest and get people into it right away, but it was way too fast and can never make it there in time. So there was problems with it. So why you want to repeat the same mistakes? I'm not saying TBC needed to be shelved, turn off the servers. No, it can continue. It can go turn on its way. I don't think Kringle, the Bitcoin bounty, is the right way to do it, but that's what admin's doing. I can't do it because it's illegal 75% of the world. So, but as regards to Kringle Liquid Token, it is basically trying to basically shift all of the business of TBC over to this new coin, and is who now it was presented as, well, the members of TBC are going to be able to exchange their token, their Kringles, into Kringle Liquid Token. Oh, okay. You exchange them, and then what? Now they're available on the market, and there's a rush of people going to buy them? No. There's not a giant rush of people just because it sits on this other wallet system or that you can buy it from. It's not going to change anything. All it does is say that now there's another form of it sitting over here. It's another place. So I kept asking this question. Well, how again? Where's the money come from to do the exchange? So it's not an exchange. It's not about trading your Kringles in. Well, you give now they said, well, now it's 50% Kringles and 50% Ethereum. Oh, well, now you're paying for it. You're paying, well, if it's Kringle is $10, you're paying $5 in Ethereum and $5 in worth of Kringles. So there's again, now you're paying who? You're paying KringlePay. You're buying their token. So is that making any sense as to why this is helping the community? No. So now that I've said this here, and I read their new announcement that they're now not going to do it because of admin not releasing the API, I'm going to point out again, and as I've been saying, I haven't been making comments because every time I've made comments and asked questions and I made suggestions, I said, well, what about this? And what? It seems to me it's like this. They change what they're doing. So I told them I'm going to do this Zoom, and look, hours before we launch, they now say, oh, we're not going to do this now. We're doing something else. We're going to actually make a whole exact clone of TBC. So this is like, all the other clones. So anyway, that's the way I see it. I don't see there's any benefit in doing Kringle Liquid Token at all to the community. It's just a way for someone to sell a coin, right? And hoping people are going to buy it. And as soon as you buy it, now you have this new one. Who's going to buy it from you? No, they can make promises that there's going to be a line and they're going to do this and do that, but is it there now? No. There's no one there waiting on the exchange to buy your token. The top 20, cryptocurrencies in the world get most of the business that's out there. How are you going to break through? So anyway, so now let's open it up for questions. Randy, first, do you have any questions about this? I know you've been kind of away and haven't been quite following this so much.
Yeah, Dan, first of all, let me just say that, I haven't really been very active in the community recently. And most of it is because of things like you're describing right here. You and I have talked several times about how we got to be mindful that people are going to sort of jump on the opportunity to create a sort of a parallel to TBC. And I can appreciate the fact that you are very scrutinizing of these, these projects that come along. I just think that people should be very, very careful. You got to be very, very careful, guys. Otherwise, you're going to have people that come up with nefarious intentions and take advantage of the community. Now, the one thing that I think is important to understand is, during TBC, people had sort of like, or I'm saying during TBC, like it's gone somewhere. It's still there. I know in my experience with TBC, people were always expecting that there was some magical exchange that was going to be there for people to like go and cash in. And one of the questions that I constantly ask people who ask me about an exchange, I would ask them the same question. Where is the money coming from that you think someone's going to exchange your Kringle for, your TBC for? What? So we have to be careful to not, for our brains, we got to see the whole picture, not just half the picture. Where does the money come from to exchange is a question you got to ask, over and over again, because otherwise, if you think someone's just going to cash out your TBC without providing you the answer for where they got the money to give you for your TBC, then you're being taken advantage of.
Well, not only is it, they can give you an answer, but if it doesn't make sense.
If it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. You can't say, well, that makes sense to me. That's why that they can do this. It's kind of like the people that are, I open my store. I'm going to be doing something where I'm going to give 100% TBC. How do you restock your shelf? You've collected the TBC. How do you give it to the next guy to restock your shelves? Now,
that's another thing, right? It's like, how do you? Well, we want stores and we want someone to take our TBC. Well, first of all, have you even talked to the store owner as far as how he can exchange or he or she can exchange his TBC that you're giving him? He's got to pay his bills. He's got to stay in business. He can't just take TBC. An exchange doesn't, just because someone says, oh, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, TBC. It doesn't mean that you can do the same thing with your TBC that you can do with your Bitcoin. My point is, Dan, is that, guys, we got to be careful here. This TBC community, we got to be, Kringle community, we have to be careful because just because someone comes to the table and they say you can exchange, you got to understand that that's you need to start asking questions at that point. You don't line up to get slaughtered. Okay, that's my point there.
Yeah. Well, hey, Randy, let me ask you a question. You're very astute in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Bitcoin Randy, right?
Okay.
So let me ask you: have you ever lost money on the Bitcoin exchanges?
Yes.
You know what? I have too. And you know what? Everybody loses money on there. You know why? Because it's a casino.
It is.
So
it is.
If you think that the exchanges are the answer to why you're able to go ahead and cash out, yes, you can. But sometimes you're actually cashing out on a loss. But somebody is winning. So on these market exchanges and things like that are stock market-like, you have to know when you're going to the casino that you're going into a casino. Right? You have to understand that's what's happening. So that's not going to be the best answer for how you're going to basically be able to cash out your Kringles. It's not the best.
As a matter of fact, when you go, oh well, I want to go to where's the exchange? If you're saying where's the exchange, you're basically revealing the fact that you don't quite understand, and that you are submitting yourself to a gamble, because you're not asking questions. See, if someone says exchange, you should start asking questions. If someone says exchange, you should not run and line up, because there's more to this whole concept of exchange than just you're gonna cash out and be walking away with money like it's more to it than that. So
Yeah. So anyway, I think that this is just KLT is just another way to get members of the TBC community, Kringle community, to fork over cash for a token that is going to be exactly the same as the Kringle they end up with. It just now they had to pay for now their tokens, their Kringle Liquid tokens, to someone else, buy them all over again, and you're still in the same position.
Yeah, we talked about that several times. We talked about how we got to be careful out there as a community, because there are going to be copycatters, but they're not people. You got to be careful with copycatters, because either it's one thing to say, okay, we are creating a platform that sort of advances TBC or advances Kringle. And then you have people that go, oh, well, we're just going to create a whole separate clone of TBC. But like you said, at the end of the day, you don't have TBC and TBC, and you're both of them are just sitting there with, with the same issue.
Right. We got some extra noise going on up there. Oh, he's muted. Good. All right. So yeah. I'm not, I'm not against, and I said this before, anyone making money. I just wanted these questions answered, and they kept avoiding answering. And when I see a pack mentality start happening in the chat room, I've had this experience before when a scammer is resisting my questions. Right at a certain point, they send in their people into the chat room, and they all attack, all saying the same thing. And I experienced that yesterday. That's why, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to just do a Zoom, and I'm going to say, I don't think that Kringle Liquid Token is doing anything other than trying to take advantage of the community, and they're not going to get anything out of it. That's my opinion. If anyone here is that's on here, I don't know who's here, is part of KringlePay, please, let's talk. Tell me where I'm wrong. Is anyone here from there? We've got how many people? It's 10, so 8 people here. Is anyone here? Raise your hand.
Hello, I'm here.
What's your name?
My name is Jefferson.
Oh, okay. So are you with KringlePay?
Hello?
Hi. Are you with
Hello?
KringlePay? I hear you. We hear you.
Basically, I'm just a platform member of KringlePay, just like everyone else.
Okay.
So although I've just been following up with their updates on how they want to make the Kringle friendly. But to be honest with you, the idea seems to be good, but I don't know. There seems to be a back and front, going back and front in the Kringle community. Because now with all these things, it's now beginning to bring some form of skepticism in the community and to the coin itself. So I want to really appreciate that you have called up this, because we really need to know where we are going now. We need to know where we are going. And as you can see, it has been brought up the issue of limiting our expenditures of Kringle is an inactive member. I do not know what is the criteria of inactive members, which I do not want to mention here, which I feel we can still discuss. You know, I don't want to conclude here that they are scammers, because they seem to have had a good idea. I also appreciate your questioning the integrity of the platform, because at the end of the day, it's not just bringing up a concept and scamming people are running, because it is really affecting us as globally, and it seems as though we are making noise with the currency that we have. The issue of Kringle being elevating poverty from the masses. I mean, I know it's not instant, but I mean, there ought to be a way. I don't know which mechanism is going to work, but there just ought to be a way that you can be able to go back. I don't know which mechanism, because Mr. Zhang, you said they are coming up with a new path. We don't know how long it's going to take, sir. I wish that if it comes so soon and it's something that will benefit us all and they're going to help us interface with what we have, I think that would be a good idea. You know?
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I mean, I am working on it day and night. I have a core team of people. I'm not going to say who they are. And we will be adding people. We will be including, you know, a way of governing our system that includes the community. But the goal of it is really, because I understand we all want abundance now. We don't want to wait for cashing out. We don't want to do something and have to wait anymore. I mean, we're done waiting. I think that this is the time for us to do something different. Hello. Oh, someone has jumped in here and over. It's not muted. Bansdad, you mind muting yourself for a little while? Hello?
Yeah, I do.
You got you delete.
Let me unmute that person now.
Yeah, you can also make me host too. That will we can make that work. So so the new system. I'm going to say that this is something that has been in actually development much longer than since I said that I was going to start something. I actually was working on it, but not for the TBC community. It was actually another project that someone was paying me to develop, and it was a good idea. And I've just, you know, kind of adapted it a bit, and I actually came up with a much better idea. And so it is something that will not cost anything to join. There is no admin fee. And for just participation in it in many ways. And it's not about making a downline. So don't worry about, you know, referrals and having to get referrals. It has nothing to do with that. Though it's not to say that that might not have places where it comes into play, but that's not our concern right now. What we want is spendability, something that someone is going to understand immediately how this works and why they're able to make end up with Bitcoin in their wallet, if that's what they want.